Hello. Just finishing some stuff up on the technical side of it. Give me one moment.
Introducing remarkable.
Oops. Okay. Just putting my phone aside. Hopefully it's not going to make noise. All right, can you guys hear me? Hello and testing. Hi, Randy. Okay. Think so? Can you hear me? I'm going to assume that you can. There we go. Okay, I do see the thingy moving. Perfect. All right, so hi guys, it's Elena, and I'm enchanted to have you be here on my kitchen. Hello, and welcome to my kitchen, where it's kind of not a mess on this side. It's a little bit messy on that side, but you don't get to see it, so it's fine and it's okay. On today's video, I'm going to be making Greek-ish inspired gyro. I believe it's pronounced gyro. Gyro, G-Y-R-O. I think it's pronounced gyro. So my husband was this wonderful, amazing person, and he prepped and made the lamb. I'm ready to pull it out of the oven. I think it's done. It is just beautiful. It smells amazing in this house. If I drool a little, you know why. He covered it with butter, rosemary, lemon, garlic, all sorts of those tasty things. So I'm going to check on it right now, make sure that it's cooked because I don't want to overcook it. So I'm gonna be back-ish. Babe, can you get me kitchen towels? The blue and white. Alrighty, so just gonna poke. Oh gosh. I need to hold it back, so there we go. Just gonna give it a poke. Make sure it's good on the inside. I believe so. This looks pretty darn tasty. And it is hot in here. Oh boy. Ta-da! It looks a little dark, but that's because of the rosemary. Once I start carving it and looking, once I start carving it, whoop, don't want to cover that in oil. You'll see the beautiful like color on the inside. So I'm just gonna let it rest. It's gonna hang out over here. Oven is off. Take that out. Oh boy. Come on. I don't want to touch this because I have done that before and it is hot. Okay. And whoops. All right, so now I have kitchen towels. Woohoo. Okay, so next up, I'm gonna get the cucumber ready because we need it to be a little bit drained of its water. So I'm just going to prep it, blend it, and we're gonna let some of that water seep out before we mix it into the sauce. Okay, toss that out. Thinking of leaving most of the skin on there. I'm gonna take off anything that looks slightly discolored. Yeah, I believe that should be fine. Cut it into smaller pieces, and I'm gonna blend it. Think all of them will fit. If not, I'll add more afterwards. Now I'm gonna give you a heads up, blender does get pretty loud. So just be careful, you're gonna go in later. So just if you're wearing headphones, heads up, I'm gonna try to cover the mic with my hand so it's not too loud for you. But I do need to use the blender, so it's gonna be super loud in about 3, 2, 1. And for some reason, it just kind of got stuck. Come on, buddy. All right, a little bit more noise. Should probably cut it into smaller pieces. It doesn't seem to be too happy in there. What if I add a couple more smaller pieces to get some moisture going? I think that might work out well. Cut these up and see what fits. Because sometimes if there's just not enough moisture, it doesn't really go far. Oh, it smells so good. Hopefully that should do the trick. All right, a little bit more noise. Perfect. Got some wonderful cucumber juice right now. Oh, come on. Struggle is real. Oh boy. I'm gonna toss in those other pieces. And one more round. Heads up, it's pretty loud. All right, that should be good. Oh, I completely forgot to add the mint. So I'm gonna add the mint to this because it's a lot easier once it's blended rather than chopping it up by hand. It smells good. There's that. Couple leaves of mint, as well as garlic. There goes that. And a couple more leaves of mint. This just gives it a nice, fresh, like super, I don't know how to put it, like springy taste. So I guess it's not really a good dish for fall, but it's so, so delicious. All right, one more round in the blender. Gonna be loud. Perfect. So now I want to get some of this water out, and I just want some of that cucumber stuff. So I'm gonna put it in a drainage thing and dump it in there. Come on. Struggle. The struggle is so real. Oh boy. There we go. It smells good. Pouring it in, and now we're just gonna let it sit and drain while I work on cooking up the bread. Toss it in the sink. So the bread is just regular flour and water consistency. It's fairly simple. I'm gonna have all of these recipes fully on my Patreon page. Full recipe for the lamb, the full recipe for what I'm cooking, and the recipe for this if you want to check it out. Description, link is down in the description, down in the bottom somewhere over there. So bread is going to be fried up on butter because it just makes it a ton of bit better. Toss that in, and I'm going to heat up the pan on about just under high. So like a medium high. Right, while that is cooking, I'm going to work on chopping up some onion. And for the onion, guess what I can do instead of constantly opening and closing the trash bin, let's just do that. It's just going to be in like half moon slices. I think I only need half of an onion. for the two of us. So this recipe will feed about 2 people. I'm just cooking it for me and my husband. Sometimes we have leftovers, but usually I try not to have much. Just cut the onion in half. Take off the skin. It is a beautiful purple onion. And I suggest using a purpley onion because it just adds more color to the gyro and it looks beautiful. Alrighty, so into thin half moons. Okay, I'm gonna put these aside. Grab a little dish. And there we go. That's gonna be assembled later once everything else is done. All right, the butter seems to be quite melted. I'm gonna place one of the flatbreads on there and let it cook. There we go. I'm also gonna place another smaller sliver of butter right over it because you can't have too much butter, at least in my opinion. All right, we're gonna let that cook and I need a couple more plates. I'll be right back. You'll still be able to hear me and to hear my plates chinkling, but I'm off camera just for a little bit. Oh, hopefully I don't lose any of this stuff. Alrighty. Okay, while I let that cook, I'm gonna need these tongs to flip it. I hope that these will come out well, because sometimes if the air has more or less moisture and you try to follow a recipe, the dough binds in a little bit of a different way. I'm not entirely sure why, but guess that's just chemistry and the way things work. So hopefully it's going to be fine. And I'm going to move on to other things. Hi, Melissa. Glad you're here. I'm going to be taking these little cherry tomatoes and I'm going to be slicing them up so they can go inside the gyro. I won't be doing too big of a piece, so it's going to be slightly time consuming, but very worth it. I feel like the smaller tomatoes are a bit more flavorful rather than the larger ones and a lot less watery. So that definitely helps out if you're eating a wrap or a sandwich so the thing's not like too drippy down your chin, but the tzatziki sauce is going to be pretty messy anyways. Slowly making my way through the tomatoes. Hope everyone's day is doing good. Today's what? Thursday? Today's Thursday. And I have a bio exam tomorrow. And like my midterms exams are starting. What was I going to say? I had a psychology exam last week. Still not really sure how I did. Think I did well. I feel fairly confident in it. But I'm not entirely sure. Flipped over that piece of bread. And I'm going to continue on with the tomatoes. And I have a bio exam tomorrow. And then I have a chemistry exam next week. And I don't want any of them. Somebody want to take my chemistry exam? Thank you. I hope I did. Let me describe just how wonderful it smells in my house right now. I have the windows open, so I'm getting a fresh breeze from the outside, and it smells nice and fall and sweet from the out there. The lamb is baked and sitting right next to me, covered in garlic and butter and rosemary, and I'm ready to drool. Then I have the fresh cucumber that's just recently blended, hanging out over here, so that's adding in on some freshness. And now the butter and the bread behind me. It's a good day. All right, one done. Gonna add more butter. Toss that there. And another flatbread. As well as another slice of butter on top. It just helps give it that nice color without overcooking it too much. I am also going to turn the heat down just a little bit since it heated up quite nicely. And this is what the first piece of bread looks like. Delicious. And back to the tomatoes. Melissa, how's your sleepy puppy doing? I love that cute video. That's kind of me when I try to wake up in the morning. Okay, last little tomato. She's sleeping. Very good puppy. I'm gonna put these aside for now. And I'm gonna work on mincing up some of this green onion. Into very thin pieces. I think the bread needs to be flipped. Yeah. Come on. It's a piece of the plastic from the butter that I just took off the bread. Whoops. I'm glad I found it now before we ate it. I'm chopping these up into fairly thin and small pieces because it's going to go into the sauce. Okay. And I'm going to put these in the bowl. The bread right now is making Oh, how did the surgery go? Hopefully your baby's doing good. Can you hear the whistles? I'm gonna put this closer. Listen to the bread whistle. I find that so hilarious. Hopefully you were able to hear that. Oh boy. Make sure to clip that back on. And this bread is done. Boom. Is that also part of the plastic? You need to be more careful. Another piece of butter. This time without the plastic. Let it melt just a tiny bit. I usually like to center that piece of butter. That way, once I place this on top, it kind of melts out from the inside. And another piece of butter on top. Boom. All right, so that part's done. I think I can move on to the Greek yogurt, and I need a spoon. Actually need 2 spoons. All right, so I'm going to take this. This is our little concoction with the cucumber. I'm gonna kind of squeeze out the juices just a little bit more. This is cucumber, garlic. It's this little puree of it. And I'm still trying to squeeze out some of that extra water. I don't want to squeeze out too much of it, but just a little bit more. That should be sufficient. And I'm going to toss that in there. Now, when I added the garlic and the mint to it, I didn't blend it into like a full pulp juice type of thing. I just kind of crushed it a little bit to give it some texture. That is very fresh and very garlicky. And how can I show you? There's so much water from the cucumber in here. It's crazy. Toss that in the sink. You could be flipped. There we go. And now onto the Greek yogurt. Yum. Use a clean spoon, that way it doesn't go bad. Just tossing some in. Gonna leave that there and mix it around. Now, because I left the skin on the cucumber instead of peeling it off or most of it off, and I blended in the mint, the sauce is going to be a little bit greener compared to most. But I like that. I don't mind that aesthetic at all. Okay, I think I need a little tiny bit more of the yogurt, and that should be done. I'm gonna put it right into the fridge. Okay. That's good. Last piece of bread. Oh, the pan needs butter. It is smoking. There we go. Wouldn't want to catch it on fire and show you how to put out a grease fire on live YouTube. That does not sound like something I want to do. All right, we should be fine now. This just needs a little bit of sauce, I think. I mean, salt, a little bit of salt. This sauce needs a little bit of salt. Definitely needs salt. I'm going to toss in some pepper as well. Oh, it's so wonderfully garlicky. Yum. I'm really happy it went well. I'm very happy about that. So this is what the sauce looks like. It's not very runny, which is kind of what you want. You don't want it to be too drippy in your wrap. And that should be it, I think. I'm going to flip this over and turn the pan off. This last one is pretty big. Just going to peel off some of the leaves off of this. Leave the stem. This is going to go inside the gyro. Again, that mintiness is just going to give it that like extra oomph. So good. Thank you. Alrighty. Couple more leaves. So this video today is fairly simple and quick because we already had the lamb made. You can use any roasted lamb recipe. You can use any roasted steak recipe. It really doesn't matter. It's going to be good and delicious either way. but my recipe, or should I say my husband's recipe for that lamb, is going to be on my Patreon. Okay, on to the carving after I take this off. Boom, that's a big piece. And I'm going to take that off the heat. We don't need it to smoke anymore. Let's see how I'm going to do this. What is the best way to do it? What is the best way to do it? In here, or should I put it on? Okay. He's usually like the meat carver person, but he's not wearing pants, so he's going to be off camera for today. I believe there's a string somewhere here. I know the color looks a little funky, but that's because of the rosemary, and the moment I start unraveling it, you'll see the deliciousness inside. So I'm just going to try to take the strings off. Maybe that would work. Don't want to eat the strings. Look at all that rosemary just falling off. It's going to be so packed with flavor. Yum. And it smells so good. Oh boy. Oh boy. Ah! Well, we got one of the pieces off. There we go. Let it fall apart a little bit. Why not? Eek. Ah! I am making a mess. But I succeeded. He's sitting over there at the kitchen table, judging me. Is this not the right way to do it, babe? So, oh, I left another string. I just don't want to eat the string. Okay, so I'm gonna put that one aside. We're gonna start off with this one. And I'm gonna go in small, thin slices. It's kind of hot. Boom. Don't need any of that rosemary. As you can see, it's just the outside that has that dark, beautiful color on it. The inside is nice and light. And it smells so good, and it's hot. I'm not very good at this. I don't do this very often. Stop judging me. Do you have tips? Am I doing this okay? Okay. I'm butchering his piece of lamb. Oh, cool. Melissa, what are you making for dinner? It wouldn't perhaps be a lamb gyro now, would it? Ooh, hot. I think that should be sufficient. I'm just going to chop it up a little bit so it fits easier into the wraps. Okay. And this can go back inside the buttery. Ooh, garlic mashed potatoes are just bomb. Full of delicious calories. Yum. This is good lamb. I'm gonna wash my hands. Okay, now I believe I can assemble the gyro, the food. Put this aside. I have plates over here. Oh boy. Let's do a little switcheroo. Fuck. Well, that's on the floor now. Oh God, I got butter everywhere. The glass just slid off the tray. Okay. We're good now. Just wanted to get it before the doggy did. Otherwise, she would have had a feast. Yeah. I'm glad that wasn't on camera, but you heard it. We're fine. It's all fine. Okay, on to the sandwich. At least I got some of it, right? I'm going to start off with adding on some of that tzatziki. Be generous with it. It is delicious. Okay, loading that on there. Going to add in the steak. Lots and lots of steak. The lamb. Lots and lots of lamb. Nothing broke. The glass is fine. It was just really slippery on that grate thing, so when I moved it and slightly tilted it, it just went flying off the counter. But we're fine. Doggy is outside? Is she outside? Oh no, she's napping. She's napping. She didn't get a chance. We're fine. All right. Gonna put one of the pieces over here. Arrange that nicely-ish. Kind of-ish. Eat a piece. Gonna do some tomatoes. That would have been awful. The only thing that's awful right now is that it had a very big pool of butter and rosemary, and now that's all over my kitchen floor. I suppose my floor will be squeaky clean after today. Ooh, I'm gonna let it cool and let the dog in here. She's gonna help clean up. Did you wake her up? Issy, you want some butter? Look. Cleanup crew is here. We'll be fine. All right, so I have the onion on here. I'm gonna add some of the tomatoes. Are you happy? So the puppy's over there right now helping clean up. See, like I said, everything's fine. It reminds me of that meme. I don't know if you've seen it, with like this dog-looking thing sitting at the table, and the house is on fire, and he's just sitting there. He's like, "It's fine. We're all fine." All right, so last but not least, gonna sprinkle on some of the fresh mint. A little bit. A little bit of the fresh mint. Now this mint is from my little herb garden spot. Okay, so, oh, the feta cheese. I almost forgot the feta. A little bit of a sprinkle of that. I know my hubby really likes feta cheese, so he gets a bit more. Alrighty, so that is it for the lamb gyro, and that's what it looks like. Glad we're on the same page. And I'm gonna give this one big bite just to make sure everything's super delicious. Try to fold this up. Let's see how big I can bite. Yep. This is good. The sauce isn't too runny. Perfect. So, my adventures for today were fantastic. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, the whole shebang, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And shout out to Melissa and shout out to Randy, who were here hanging out with me today. Bye.